بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. The discussion is, does ad-dalalatul iltizamiyya, indication by implication, depend on ad-dalalatul mutabaqiyya? They are so much connected and linked to each other that if ad-dalalatul mutabaqiyya drops, ad-dalalatul iltizamiyya also drops. Like ma'lul and illa, for example. If illa is not there, ma'lul cannot be there. Or they are connected but independent. So dalil for hujjiyah of amara establishes mutabaqi and establishes iltizami at the same time without mutabaqi or iltizami depending on each other. They're independent. If we say they are independent, if one of them goes, the other one can remain. But if we say iltizami depends on mutabaqi, if mutabaqi for some reason is known that it's not accepted, then the other one can remain or cannot remain. If we say it depends, it cannot remain. So, after explaining the question, now let's see what are the positions and arguments. وَقَدْ يُسْتَدَلُّ عَلَى الْإِرْتِبَاطِ بِأَحَدِ الْوَجْهَيْنِ التَّالِيَيْنِ. Sometimes it is argued for linking and relation between them in one of these two ways. The first way is this: أن الدلالة الالتزامية متفرعة في وجودها على الدلالة المطابقية. They say that دلالة التزامي depends in its existence on دلالة مطابقي. I don't think anyone would question that, because if you don't have malzum, there is no lazim. If there is no dalalat mutabaqi, there is no implied meaning. So in wujud, yes. But then they say فَتَكُونُ مُتَفَرَّعَةً فِي حُجِّيَتِهَا إِذَنْ, because in existence depends on mutabaqi, so in its hujjiyah also must depend on mutabaqi. But Ayatollah Sa'd says, no. Maybe something in existence depends on something, but in hujjiyah is independent. يلاحظ على ذلك أن التفرع في الوجود لماذا يستلزم التفرع في الحجية? If it depends in existence on mutabaqi, why in hujjiyah should depend on it? يلاحظ عليه means there is an objection about it. أَوَلَا يُمْكِنْ أَن نَفْتَرِض, isn't it possible that we suppose أَنَّ كُلَّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِنَ الدَّلَالَتَيْنِ مَوْضُوعٌ مُسْتَقِلٌ لِلْحُجِّيَّةِ بِلِحَاظِ كَاشِفِيَّتَهَا? Can't we suppose that every one of these two types of dalala, iltizami and mutabaqi, is by itself designated موضوع مستقل, it's exposed or designated for hujjiyah because of kashifiyatul amara. So amara has given validity to both of them. So the first argument is not accepted. The second argument, أن نفس السبب الذي يوجب سقوط الدلالة المطابقية عن الحجية يوجب دائما سقوط الدلالة الالتزامية. The same cause which caused dropping دلالة مطابقي can cause dropping of دلالة التزامي. Not only can, it must. فإذا علم مثلا بعدم ثبوت المدلول المطابقي وسقطت بذلك حجية الدلالة المطابقية فإن هذا العلم بنفسه يعني العلم أيضا بعدم ثبوت المدلول الالتزامي. So if we know that there is no madlul mutabaqi and it has dropped from hujjiyah, this knowledge by itself means that we know that there is no dalalat iltizami as well. لأن ما تحكي عنه الدلالة الالتزامية دائما حصة خاصة من اللازم وهي الحصة الناشئة أو الملازمة للمدلول المطابقي. Because that دلالة التزامي, although may look very general, but that part which is because of this, for example, let me mention the example of this again. According to these people, they say burning and death. Although death is more general than burning, but death which is understood from this text about ihtaraqa is not every death. Is that portion of death which comes from fire. That hissa. Because you don't have any text which says he was burnt and he died, two separate things. You understood death from ihtiraq. So what type of death can be understood from ihtiraq? That death which is related to fire. So hissa means a portion, a part of a kulli. Okay? Hissa. For example, if we say ulama, fuqaha are hissatun min al-ulama. Yeah? It's portion of it, part of that kulli. So, if you know that there is no madlul mutabiqi and it is dropped, this knowledge by itself means that you know there is no madlul iltizami. Why? Because what madlul iltizami is helping to discover is a specific portion of what is implied, not any. وهي الحصة الناشئة أو الملازمة للمدلول المطابقي. That part which is implied by mutabaqi, or it is caused by that, like that death which is related to burning, or that tahara which is related to tazkiyah, zikr. لا طبيعي اللازم على الإطلاق. Not كلية طبيعية of that lazim in general. وتلك الحصة. If you then say that portion which is related to mutabaqi, then it would be not a'am, it would be musawi. Although death is a'am, but if we say a hissa min al-death, a hissatun min al-maut, which is related to fire, then they become equal. And then we said if it is equal, then it cannot remain. Yeah, if lazim is a'am, this question comes. وَبِكَلِمَةٍ أُخْرى. In other words, أن ذات اللازم or أن ذات اللازم وإن كان أعم أحيانا. The essence of what is implied can be sometimes more general. Death by itself is more general than burning. But لكنه بما هو مدلول التزامي. But because this death is understood from احترق, so it would be equal always with مدلول مطابقي. فلا يتصور ثبوته بدونه. So it cannot be supposed that we have لازم without ملزوم, we have التزامي without مطابقي. فموت زيد وإن كان أعم من احتراقه بالنار. Death of Zayd, although it is more general than Zayd being burnt by fire, لكن من أخبر باحتراقه بالمطابقة فهو لا يخبر التزاما بالموت الأعم ولو كان بالسم، بل مدلوله الالتزامي هو الموت الناشئ من الاحتراق خاصة. Okay, so death and ihtiraq, if you consider them just, in vacuum, okay, death is more general. Because death can be by accident, can be by fire, can be by poison, heart attack. So death is more general. But what type of death you understood here? Death which is coming from ihtiraq. According, of course, to this person. So if ihtiraq is dropped, death also is dropped, because we are dealing with hissatun min al-maut, which is related to ihtiraq. Pardon? Ihtiraq means burning. فإذا كنا نعلم بعدم الاحتراق فكيف نعمل بالمدلول. If we know that burning has not happened, then how can we act upon madlul iltizami? But inshallah this will be discussed later. He says سيأتي تكميل البحث عن ذلك وتعميقه في الحلقة الآتية, in حلقة الثالثة إن شاء الله تعالى. So he wanted to mention this, although it was a little bit difficult, to prepare the mind for the next level. حلقة الثالثة is very difficult. Another discussion. وفاء الدليل بدور القطع الموضوعي. Is dalil for hujjiyah, dalil al-muhriz, is it able to play the role of qat' mawdu'i or not? Before I continue, I should remind you of qat' tariqi and qat' mawdu'i. You remember? Yes. We had this discussion. Qat' mawdu'i is when qat' or yaqeen is taken as part of the subject. Okay? For example, I tell you, don't give information about hukm shar'i unless you know. So you can only inform people about hukm shar'i that you know. So here knowledge is part of the subject. I don't say inform about hukm shar'i. I say inform about hukm shar'i which is ma'loom to you. Okay? Or give shahada, bear witness about something that, for example, you see by your eyes. So seeing by your eyes is part of the subject. But if I say inform people about hukm shar'i, then even if you don't know for sure, but you have a way to establish hukm shar'i, you can say, okay, I guessed, or anyway, I was with the impression that this is hukm shar'i and I mentioned it, or I had amara and I mentioned it. So inshallah we will talk about this issue later. But in any case, al-qat'u al-mawdu'i is certainty which is taken as part of mawdu' al-hukm. Is part of the subject that hukm belongs to it. Al-qat'u al-tariqi, tariqi means path, is certainty which by itself is not important. In mawdu'i, that by itself is important. You know, in Farsi we say mawzu'iyat dare. Mawzu'iyat dare means it by itself is important, by itself is an object. But tariqi is only a path. By itself is not important. It's a path to get access to reality. Your concern is only this reality, the fact, not the path. Okay? الدليل المحرز إذا كان قطعيا. If دليل محرز is قطعي, because we said either it is قطعي or ظني. If it is قطعي, then of course it does everything that يقين does because it's قطعي. فهو يفي بما يقتضيه القطع الطريقي من منجزية ومعذرية لأنه يوجد القطع في نفس المكلف بالحكم الشرعي كما أنه يفي بما يترتب على القطع الموضوعي من أحكام شرعية. If دليل محرز is decisive, it's certain, it's exactly like yaqin, because it's yaqin. So it can be موضوعي or it can be tariqi. فهو يفي, it would be adequate, yeah, for what qat' al-tariqi implies, which is munajjaziyya wa mu'azzariyya. You remember we said we have two things. Qat' is munajjaz, means activates the hukm, and mu'azzar gives also excuse. If you are sure that there is no taklif, so you have excuse. And if you are sure that there is taklif, it's for you now activated, munajjaz. لأنه يوجد القطع في نفس المكلف, because now this person has قطع. So it's like the reality is known to you. كما أنه يفي بما يترتب على القطع الموضوعي. It also is adequate for what قطع موضوعي depends on it, which is أحكام شرعية. So all أحكام شرعية for subjects part of which is قطع would repeat here. لأن هذه الأحكام يتحقق موضوعها وجدانا, because these rulings, their subject is known to us to exist. So we don't have any issue about الدليل المحرز القطعي. What about الدليل المحرز غير القطعي, like أمارة, مثل خبر واحد for example. Certainly they are adequate to replace قطع طريقي. Whether you know 100% حكم شرعي or you hear it from خبر واحد, the result is the same. It's منجز and معذر. Is it clear? والدليل المحرز غير القطعي يفي بما يقتضيه القطع الطريقي من منجزية ومعذرية. If it is not decisive, like amare, then it is adequate to play the role of what certainty requires, which is munajjiziyya and mu'adhdhiriyya. فالأمارة الحجة شرعا إذا دلت على ثبوت التكليف. Amara, but the amara which is religiously accepted as hujjah. If it is saying that there is taklif, that taklif becomes munajjaz, akkadat munajjaziyatahu. It would emphasize, it would affirm that it is munajjaz. And if it is saying that there is no taklif, إذا دلت على نفي التكليف كان معذرا عنه. It gives excuse. You can say that I had this hujjah for not doing this. ورفعت أصالة الاشتغال. And if you knew that there was taklif and you didn't know how to do it, how to deliver it, this says, no, there is no taklif. So أصالة الاشتغال goes away. كما لو حصل القطع الطريقي بنفي التكليف. It's like when you yourself were 100% sure that you have no taklif. So whether khabar wahid says you have no taklif or you are sure that you have no taklif, in both cases you have udhr. هذا معناه قيام الأمارة مقام القطع الطريقي. The meaning of this is that amare can stand in the place of qat' al-tariqi. But what is more delicate and more difficult to understand is, can we put amara in the place of qat' mawdu'i, not qat' tariqi? Because in qat' tariqi, for us the subject is important, and yaqeen was a way to reach. Amara is also a way to reach. But when yaqeen is taken as part of subject, al-hukmul ma'lum akhbirhu. That hukm that you know, inform people. So can we say, instead of ma'lum, the hukm which is received by khabar wahid? Is it possible or not? ولكن هل تفي الأمارة بالقيام مقام القطع الموضوعي? But the question is amara adequate to stand in the place of قطع موضوعي? فيه بحث وخلاف. There is debate here, there is discussion here, there are different opinions here. فلو قال المولى, we give you an example. If Mawla says كلما قطعت بأنه خمر فأرقه, if Mawla says whatever you are certain that it is wine, pour it. Okay, means throw it away. أراق يريق means to shed, to pour, yeah? Like iraqatul dam means. Okay? It is also sometimes coming with ha. And Imam Hussein, when they arrived in Karbala, this is the place that tuharaqu dema'una. Tuharaqu and turaqu means majhul means shed, to be shed. Our blood will be shed. So, كلما قطعت بأنه خمر فأرقه. Whatever you are certain that it is wine, throw it away, pour it. Okay. So, is this qat mawzui or tariqi? It is mawzui. If it was saying أرق الخمر, then khamr was itself the subject, and if you knew that it is khamr, would be qat' tariqi. But here qat' is taken as subject. So now, sometimes you know that this is khamr, so definitely you have to. But if قامت الأمارة الحجة شرعا على أن هذا خمر, but if instead of qat' we have amara, like what? This is a test. What is the amara that can be hujjah that shows that this is khamr? If you know this is qat', amara, No. How religiously you establish that this is khamr? Here you cannot say khabar wahid, because khabar wahid is for ahkam. Here is bayyina. Two people should bear witness. It's different from khabar wahid. So if two people bear witness that this is khamr, suppose you are not sure, because if you are sure, if you are certain by listening to two people who are just, then you have that. But suppose still you are not 100% sure, but two people who are reliable, they say it is khamr. Okay. قامت الأمارة الحجة شرعا على أن هذا خمر ولم يحصل القطع بذلك. But you have no certainty. Okay. Can we say that now you must throw it away? Because although you don't have qat', but you have bayyina shar'an. For you it is like qat'. هل يترتب وجوب الإراقة على هذه الأمارة كما يترتب على القطع أو لا? Is the obligation of throwing it away belong to this amara as if you had qat' uncertainty? هنا تفصيل. يترتب means does it depend, does it follow? Yes, tarattub means to belong, to rely on something. So in the same way that if you had certainty wujubul iraqa was coming, can we say that now that you have bayyana wujubul iraqa comes, means follows amara or not? Ulama here have made a tafsil, means they have made a distinction. Okay? It doesn't have yes or no answer. They have made a distinction. وهو أن تارة نفهم من دليل وجوب إراقة مقطوع الخمرية أن مقصود هذا الدليل من المقطوع ما قامت حجة منجزة على خمريته وليس القطع إلا كمثال. Sometimes you are sure that although certainty is mentioned, but it is an example. When they say al-khamrul maqtu', this is example, means what is for you proved to be khamr, either with certainty or with amara. So yaqeen is not as such important. Yaqeen was one way of establishing that this is khamr. So if this is known to you, if you can understand that qat' has no specific position here, it's just example. وَأُخْرَى نَفْهَمُ, but some other times we understand from دليل وجوب إراقة مقطوع الخمرية that إناطة الحكم بوجوب الإراقة بالقطع بوصفه كاشفا تاما لا يشوبه شك. But sometimes you understand that no, the reason that it is said throw away khamr, which is maqtu, is because qat' is kashif 100% completely, no doubt remains. So we have to realize, is shari' muqaddas concerned with certainty about wine or just wine? If it is just, he says wine, then however it is established for you, then you have to throw it away. But if he was saying that when you are 100% sure that this is wine, you have no doubt that it is wine, then you cannot extend it to other cases of dalil. فَفِي الْحَالَةِ الْأُولَى, when only to be wine was important, تَقُومُ الْأَمَارَةُ الْحُجَّةِ مَقَامَ الْقَطْعِ الْمَوْضُوعِ. In the first condition, amara, which is hujjah, could stand in the place of قطع موضوعي. وَيَتَرَتَّبُ عَلَيْهَا وُجُوبُ الْإِرَاقَةِ. Then even when there is amara, you have to throw it away. Okay? Because what was the subject of wujub was khamr. Although it said khamr maqtu, but maqtu was not important. Khamr, to be known to be khamr, was the subject, and now it is there, so you must throw it away. But in the second supposition, the second condition, لا يكفي مجرد كون الأمارة حجة. It's not enough that amara is hujjah, and we have dalil that it is hujjah, and we have to act upon amara. It's not enough to know all this so that it can occupy the place of قطع موضوعي. لأن وجوب الإراقة منوط بالقطع بما هو كاشف تام. Because according to the second option, to be asked that you must throw it away depends on what? On certainty, because it's completely discovering the reality. And amara, although it is hujjah, although it is munajjiz limu'addaha, amara activates what is conveyed by amara. بجعل الشارع, by shara designating amara as hujjah. So whatever amara says, it is activated, it becomes binding. But ليست كاشفا تاما على أيها. But it's not a complete means for discovering. فلا يترتب عليها وجوب الإراقة. So it would not follow it that you must throw it away. إلا, unless إذا ثبت في دليل الحجية أو في دليل آخر. Unless you can understand from dalil of hujjiyah of amara. Okay, whatever hadith was there or seerah was there which was saying that this amara is hujjah. If from that you can understand that it can be taken as substitute for yaqeen, then of course that would be different. إلا إذا ثبت في دليل الحجية أو في دليل آخر أن المولى أعمل عناية. If we can understand that Mawla has made a special consideration وَنَزَّلَ الْأَمَارَةَ مَنْزِلَةَ الْكَاشِفِ التَّامِ, and has put amara in the position of something which is completely discovering the truth. Like Shara, sometimes does this. For example, Shara says, at-tawafu salatun. In the same way that for salat you need tahara, for tawaf you need tahara. Is tawaf really salat? No, but Shara can say, I assume that it's the same. This is called tanzil. We had a tanzili in the beginning of the class. Not the first part. Just today, but in the first part. كما نزل الطواف منزلة الصلاة في قوله الطواف بالبيت الصلاة. In the same way that Shara puts salat and tawaf together. It says, I imagine that tawaf is also salat. الطواف بالبيت means Baytullah is salatun. هذه عناية إضافية. This is additional, this is extra consideration by Mawla. لا يستبطنها مجرد جعل الحجية للإمارة. Just simply making amara hujjah does not show this. But if not only he makes it hujjah, he says, I want you to treat this like yaqeen. If he says, I want you to treat amara as yaqeen, then it can fill the gap of yaqeen. وبهذا صح القول إن دليل حجية الإمارة بمجرد افتراضه الحجية لا يفي لإقامتها مقام القطع الموضوعي. Based on this, it is correct to say that the reference for validity of amara, just because it is valid, it's authoritative, is not enough to establish amara as something that can substitute or replace qat' mawdu'i. Just to say amara is hujjah is not enough to put it in the place of qat'. You have to realize that this is enough. Just to have hujjah is enough. Okay, we have one point. I don't know how much time we have. Pardon? Time is finished. Okay, so inshallah we continue next week. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.